Hey Rose, it's Friday, and there's some pretty amazing news in the science world. A new ancestral species of humans has been discovered. No homo. Just kidding. Yes, homo. Homo Naledi. So let's step back a sec. Rose and I both got degrees in anthropology, the study of humans, and as you might imagine, humanity is fairly complex, so there are many fields within anthropology, such as physical anthropology, which studies genetics and population diversity, or linguistics, which studies language, something that humans are pretty good at. I'm doing it right now. But two of the most common fields of anthropology focus on aspects of human culture, which can be very complex. You have cultural anthropology, which studies the cultures of people around the world today, but you also have archaeology, which studies the cultures of people of the past. Always having been fascinated with evolution and the constantly changing nature of life, I found myself in love with physical anthropology and archaeology. Just thinking about all of the beings that evolved and changed over millions of years just so I could be sitting here making this video kinda blows my mind a little bit. New discoveries in human history do not come around very often, and when they do, it's usually just a small artifact or a bone fragment that can be very limiting in the information that they provide. But this time, something else has happened. Almost exactly 2 years ago, on September 13th, 2013, some scientists who were looking for a cave extension in South Africa accidentally found a 20-meter shaft in the ground that was only about 8 inches wide, but the shaft went down to a large underground cave room that was absolutely littered with bones. The science community has spent the last 2 years studying these bones, trying to figure out which species they belong to, and just yesterday they announced that these bones do indeed belong to a brand new species of early hominid, Homo Naledi. And they didn't have just a couple bone fragments to make guesses on. So far, over 1,500 bone fragments have been discovered, coming from at least 15 different individuals. So let's have a little long-term human history. But because of the fact that you can only learn so much from a single piece of bone, and because evolution doesn't happen in leaps, it happens gradually over time, there's always been some controversy as to which species of early human are actually their own species and which are just subgroups of other species. But if we keep it simple and just ignore the possible subspecies, most scientists agree that there have been 5 main species of the Homo genus. First, you have Homo habilis, who lived from about 2 to 1.5 million years ago. Next, you have Homo erectus, who was, without a doubt, the most successful species of our genus, having lived from about 1.9 million years ago to just about 70,000 years ago. Homo heidelbergensis lived from about 600,000 to 300,000 years ago, and the famous Homo neanderthalensis, also known as Neanderthals, lived from about 350,000 years ago to just about 40,000 years ago. And then you have Homo sapiens, us, who have lived from about 200,000 years ago and are still going strong today. So where does this new species Homo Naledi fit in? Well, that is the exciting part. By analyzing different markers like head size and body shape and proportions, scientists can determine where along our lineage a new discovery existed. As a very loose, very general rule of thumb, over the last several million years, we have gone from looking like apes to looking like we do now. So, scientists can look at different things about a body and determine which species it belonged to. This is where it gets so cool, because Homo naledi was very ape-like in a lot of areas, like in the head and chest, but its limbs are drastically more human, with long, slender arms and legs. Its hands were slightly smaller than ours with curvier fingers, but its feet are nearly indistinguishable from modern human feet. Like, they could have comfortably worn our flip-flops. By analyzing the bones, the scientific community has estimated that these bones are from a species that lived before Homo habilis even, most likely around 2.5 or 3 million years ago. But with only this sample of bones to go off of, it is impossible to know for how long this species lived. Now, this is where the difficult sciencey work comes in, because now scientists have to go through all of the old bone fragments in their archives. First, they'll look at all the unidentified bones to see if they belong to Homo naledi, but then they'll go through all of the bones that have already been identified as coming from a different species to see if maybe they were misidentified and actually come from Homo naledi, now that we know that that exists. Once we find more bones and artifacts from the species, we'll be able to begin to create a model for when and how long this species existed. But for now, I'm just gonna marvel in the fact that even 3 million years ago, there were weird, hairless apes wandering around, just trying to figure out life. Very similar to what I am constantly doing myself. And Rose, my favorite weird hairless ape, we will see you on Monday. Bye.